My mother decided to get married the weekend before me. I am not oop. Oop is you, horty whore. Originally posted to r, true off my chest. My mother decided to get married the weekend before me. Trigger warnings. Emotional abuse. Emotional manipulation. Attention-seeking behavior. Less than. And NBSP. Original post October 15, 2023. I, 26F, and my fiancé, 26 meters, are getting married in 2 weeks. We have been engaged with our date set for over a year. My mom was the first person we called when we got engaged, and all she said was, "I'm sure I'm the last to know. You're probably sick of hearing congratulations by now." She flew out a couple months later for our engagement party. I was outside with my friend when she stormed outside, past everyone else sobbing, and wouldn't speak to me, except to yell at me to go back inside. Later she told me she was just overwhelmed. Then she met her boyfriend. She told me he makes her feel so loved, like my fiancé does for me, but that she was also still seeing a few other people, mostly because her new boyfriend doesn't speak any English and my mom doesn't speak Spanish. They communicate through Google Translate. A few months later, my fiancé and I are in my hometown for a childhood friend's wedding. My mother was also invited and brought her boyfriend. I was in the wedding, so my fiancé was stuck next to them for the ceremony. He said they made out the whole time, and whenever they weren't, my mom was complaining. During the reception, if they weren't on the dance floor grinding on each other, they were back at their table making out. He even had his hand up her dress on several occasions. I brought up this behavior on the drive home, and she said, "He's Latin. He's just very passionate." While we were in town, my mo decided to throw us a wedding shower. I even made sure the bride whose wedding I was in was okay with it first. But it was a great chance for my fiancé to meet all of me friends. People I haven't seen since before the pandemic, the last time I was there. My mo tried to include my mom in the planning. Mom said she would bring table decorations and tablecloths. She brought them and then immediately sat down and got on her phone. Didn't bother to even get the things out of the car. I asked her to frost cupcakes if she was just going to sit there while I set up tables. She agreed but complained about it the whole time. Once my friends started showing up, she completely ignored everyone and just sat in the corner on her phone. My fiancé went out of his way to try and include her in every conversation. She knew a lot of people there. Girls I've been friends with since first grade. People I went to high school with. My ma's parents, and she just ignored everyone. Then complained to my fiancé that I wasn't spending time with her, even though I had set the day before of our trip aside to specifically spend with her and my younger siblings. After we got back from our trip, I found out I was pregnant. Again, she was the first one I called because I knew she would be upset if she wasn't. I called her several times and she didn't answer, so I called my dad and best friend and told them. When I finally got a hold of her, she said, "Wow. Congrats," in the most monotone voice I've ever heard her use in my whole life. At the end of last month, her and my dad both told me they didn't know if they could afford to come to my wedding. Again, the date has been known for over a year. I don't understand why they didn't work out travel and lodgings in advance. Not to mention my mother just moved recently to be closer to her boyfriend's job. I was honestly over all of her behavior at this point, so I figured it would be a good thing if she didn't show and I was at peace with it. But she worked it out and called me this past week to tell me she got the plane tickets for her, my brother and her boyfriend. Oh, and by the way, that they were getting married in a week. A week before my own wedding. My fiancé and I both cannot wrap our heads around how she could possibly think this is acceptable. She knows how much we've been looking forward to this, and it just feels like I'm not allowed to have anything for myself. She always needs a slice of whatever I get. Now she's going to come to our wedding and tell everyone that she just got married too. I have to warn our photographers not to speak to her because I know she'll tell them she just got married and was wondering if they could take a few pictures of them together. She's going to try to make our wedding her wedding, without having to pay for any of it. It feels like she's jealous and just wishes to be me. I don't know if it's the pregnancy hormones or if it's past trauma to do with her. We have a long history of not getting along. I thought we had been doing well in recent years, until I met my fiancé. But I literally never want to speak to her again after this wedding. I'll definitely be going no contact for at least a little while. I don't know if anyone will even read this novel, but I desperately needed to get it off my chest. Relevant comments. X Happy Acid X. I wouldn't even let her come to the wedding at this point. Honestly, nobody wants her there. Least of all me. I do want my brother there though, and he lives with her and is dependent on her, so she has to come as well. Jones in for Jonesy. She sees you as a rival to outdo from the sounds of things. Probably disappointed she can't have another baby too. Gross. Maybe you should warn everyone in advance that you're suspicious she's up to something and to watch out for their clothing. That would make everyone steer clear of her while keeping an eye on her at the same time. My bridal party and my future in-laws are aware. My friend whose wedding we attended is one of my bridesmaids, and her husband and parents will be there. They were my second family growing up, and her mother was appalled to get an invitation to my mom's wedding a week before my own. But they said they would do their best to corral her. But I was just telling my fiancé if she hadn't had a hysterectomy, I bet she'd be telling everyone. They're trying to get pregnant. And NBSP. Update November 3rd, 2023. Hi everyone. I just wanted to say thank you for all the well wishes. My wedding was truly the best day of my life. I had the best day ever. No thanks to anyone in my family. A lot happened, so I'll have to keep everything brief. I called my mom before her wedding and told her it was messed up she decided to get married a week before me. She had to have had this conversation with someone else or knew it was coming, because she immediately launched into, "Yeah, I know, but it just kind of happened this way, it wasn't intentional." My friend's mother went to her wedding so she could report back to us. Apparently my mom complained about me the whole time, saying I was mad about nothing, and told her she wasn't allowed to talk about her wedding. Which I did, but she had readily agreed to when we were on the phone, saying she wasn't trying to take any attention from me. My whole family missed the rehearsal, which would have been fine if they just listened to me about the lineup at least one of the 12 times I told them what they were supposed to be doing. This caused an issue at the wedding. Mom threw a fit. Mill saved the day and set her straight. Mom made it to rehearsal dinner, and after I was finished helping set up, she came up to me, grabbed my stomach and started screeching hello to the baby. I backed up and asked her to please not touch me without permission, and she was very upset. Mom refused to smile in any pictures she was in that her husband was not. My sister, she's 14 and the youngest, threw a fit over the food we served. My dad missed our grand entrance and first dance because he left to get her Subway. I told him it was a good thing I decided to not do a father-daughter dance because he would have missed that too. My whole family left early, which was fine because we were under the impression they all had early flights the next morning, which is why they wouldn't make it to brunch. Well, my mother lied to all of us and put my brother on an early morning flight so she and her husband could travel to NYC. We live upstate, and take a little honeymoon. We only found out because one of my bridesmaids and her family ran into her at the Statue of Liberty. My husband is pissed because we would have let my brother stay with us a bit longer, and because my mom lied to his mom's face about why they couldn't attend brunch. My mom has texted me. I haven't responded and don't plan to. All in all, though, absolutely none of this matters to me. I'm married to my best friend. I had my fairy tale wedding, and now in about 4 months we'll have a new baby that I'm over the moon excited for. Several people asked for updates, so I thought I'd share the tea with you guys. And NBSP. Additional comments. Lil update to my update. My mom texted me several times asking if I was mad at her, and she spammed me on Facebook on a post I made for my cat's birthday, lol. I responded saying yes, I was upset for all of the reasons I listed above. Most of all the lying and sneaking around. Basically, she didn't respond to any of the actually important points I made and just did her best to make me feel guilty, and only acknowledged the parts she felt were defendable. But I told her I need space and we won't be speaking for a while. And NBSP. Relevant comments. Equal infamous 4764. Congratulations on your wedding op. So happy it went somewhat smoothly for you. As for your mother, she has shown her jealousy and efforts to make everything about her. She did not care about being there for you, but being closer to NYC. I'm also from upstate NY too. If I were you, I would cut her completely out of your life, because the next thing will be her trying to make your pregnancy journey about her becoming a grandparent. You have your husband and in-laws too. Also, with your dad, he should have put a stop to your sister having a tantrum because she is 14. That is way too old for that behavior. I'd Photoshop her out of your wedding photos. 2 women shrugging, medium dark skin tone, all the best, girly. Part of her reasoning for getting married before me was so that they could make this trip a little honeymoon, which confused me because I was under the impression they would arrive Friday night, stay for the wedding on Saturday, and leave Sunday morning. Now I know she didn't leave until Wednesday. I'm done letting her get to me though, focusing on my new little family. But yeah, I told my husband our child would have had to go hungry until we left for the evening if they threw a fit like that, lol. Commentator asks about the lengths of relationships and the dates. OP. I was engaged with my date set for months and months before my mom even met her now husband. I told her on the phone that this feels like a competition that I didn't sign up for. IDK if you saw my last post, but they don't even speak the same language and communicate through Google Translate. She's texted me a few times now, but I have no plans on responding anytime soon. And NBSP. This is a repost sub IAM, not oop. Her new boyfriend doesn't speak any English and my mom doesn't speak Spanish. They communicate through Google Translate. The train wreck relationships on 90 Day Fiancé are supposed to be a warning, not a guide. Mom has to be the bride at every wedding and the corpse at every funeral. I think the mom is one of those weirdos that gets jealous of their own daughter. Is it weird I'm relieved mom didn't hit on Oop's husband? As far as we know, clearly the mother is jealous of Op, and she sounds like a piece of work. The father also sounds exhausting as well. This isn't a particularly satisfying update for me. Mom got her wedding and got to screw up parts of OOP's wedding as well. I wish she had been better at setting boundaries, but I hope she's learned for the future now. Poor Oop. Weddings, funerals and babies really make narcissists go into peak crazy mode, and are typically when the relationship starts the inevitable process of falling apart. Her mother and father are absolute pieces of work. Oop sounds so great. I hope she is able to get some therapy and heal from all of the people in her life that have let her down. How is this not an R raised by narcissists post? That's some serious narc behavior. I got weirded out because this was so much like my mom. Every time I stick my hand in this fire it burns me. How do I make it stop burning me? I'm afraid it will burn other people when I bring it around them. My friend's mom did exactly this. Months after her daughter's weddings was announced, she decided that the ideal time to marry her boyfriend of 10 years was less than a month before her daughter's wedding. The daughter left the country shortly thereafter and doesn't speak to her mom. Imagine being a grown woman with a grown adult child and getting finger blasted in the open at a wedding reception where said grown adult child is at. Textbook case of narcissistic behavior. Everything has to be about OP's mother. I have the same at home and am LC with her, and my mental health has greatly benefited from it. My family are so beautifully boring. Reading Reddit posts like this always causes me to call my parents and tell them how they're the best parents a gal could ever ask for, and they did an amazing job. Open mouth smile. Thankfully, it sounds like OP may have found a real, loving, stable family with her in-laws. I wish her all the best. The mom wants attention. The best way to punish attention-seeking behavior is to give them no attention. The mom absolutely sucks, but WTF happened with her dad? Sounds like the only person in her family who's not awful is her little brother? Another mom jealous of her daughter and competes with her every chance she can get. Throw the whole family away. OP gives a prime example when going low, no contact with a parent is the right call. Mom being in direct competition with her adult child smacks of some serious mental and behavioral issues. This won't get any better with the baby on the way. OP's mom needs to be on an information diet and blocked on social media. Without strong boundaries and limited information, she's going to just make OP's life miserable. OP needs https://www.reddit.com/r/raisebonarcissist/. Oof, I felt the not smiling bit. My Mill is a notorious closed-mouth smirker. My wedding photos? Any of them she's actually in? Not a single smile smirk to be seen. When I got them back and saw them all, I asked why, and her excuse was that she didn't feel good. Like, sure, she did the same thing to my Sil, so at least I know I wasn't alone there. But Jesus, talk about being jealous of your own kids.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.